Let's bring in attorney Misty Marris, trial attorney, legal analyst, and Florida prosecutor Dave Ehrenberg. Dave, support the prosecution aspect of this. Where is the line of criminal responsibility for a parent in the crime of a child?
Chris, in this case, it's so egregious what had happened that this is not going to set a precedent for every other case, because we've never seen anything like this before. Here, you had a disturbed child who then the parents, instead of getting him therapy, bought him a gun. And then when he was discovered by teachers to be researching ammunition in class, the school called the parents, and the parents didn't respond. The mother then texted the child, LOL, I'm not mad at you, I just don't want you to get caught. And then the next day, when he's drawing these disturbing drawings showing that he's ready for a school shooting, he gets sent to the principal's office. The parents go in there, and instead of taking him home, they leave him there. Instead of checking his book bag, they leave him there. They don't check it. And in fact, they don't even mention to the school officials that they had bought him a gun. He had access to a gun. So when she says there's nothing she would have done differently, that is awful. And I'm hoping the jury will see through that when cross-examination comes tomorrow.
But Dave, she has to say that. If you get on the stand in your own defense and say, yeah, I really messed up, I should have done this, this, and this, you know, you're basically admitting that you did something that could be formulated as a crime. But I digress. Misty Marris, to Dave's point, the school was reaching out. Well, but the school also said he didn't have to go home. And the school also had concerns about what he was up to and what he was about. And they let him stay in school. Is that a mitigating factor? Does that reduce the chance that you extend criminal responsibility to the mom?
Yeah, and by the way, Dave makes brilliant points on the prosecution side, but these are the issues the defense is really going to focus on. There's causation. That's a factor here. And so what the argument will be is that there's a intervening cause, an intervening criminal act by Ethan. What you point out, Chris, the school, their involvement. Now, the school, at the time, they have this meeting. There were two just diametrically different accounts of this. And Jennifer Crumbley said the school gave them a choice. He can go back to class. They did not deem him a risk. What actually corroborates that is the testimony by the assistant principal who said, well, we didn't escalate this because he didn't seem to be a risk, and had we escalated it, then they would have had the ability to search his backpack. They didn't
Doesn't
do
it
that.
shock you a little bit how schools in this country kind of pick and choose what to be outraged by? And it's like, you know, if somebody doesn't say the right thing, they go nuclear. And then you have a situation like this where they kind of like seem to tend to take it easy. Everybody's so afraid of litigation, but not all the way across the board. And brilliant is a strong word for Ehrenberg. And I'll tell you why. Not that you aren't brilliant and handsome, but Brother Ehrenberg, you left out the biggest bat that they had to swing at her today, which was when the mother heard about a shooting at the school. Not who shot at the school, but a shooting at the school. She texted her son, Ethan, don't do it. Her explanation, I thought he might hurt himself. Does it matter? And is this what we call in the law dispositive of her guilt? Is this the fact that will change everything?
It matters. And by the way, thank you, Misty. I think you can call me brilliant anytime.
I
It
called
does
you handsome.
matter.
Don't be touchy. Continue.
I'll take both. It's not dispositive. You know what else is important? It's the consciousness of guilt. Why did she run and hide after her son was arrested? Did she not regret that? It shows that she knew that she did something wrong. Also, do you know that after they were arrested, they hired a criminal defense lawyer for themselves? They left their kid with a public defender. She's not going to win Mother of the Year, and I think she's done so much here, and she refused to take any responsibility for even a little bit of it. I think that if she had done, maybe, yeah, I could have done a few things differently, it would have gone over better. But the big money is tomorrow when it's cross-examination. Anyone can respond to their lawyer's pre-planned questions in direct examination. Let's see how she fares tomorrow.
Misty, it's hard for a parent to deal with their kid being sick, mentally, physically, and wanting them to be okay. And to see your kid as being at risk of killing other people is not a normal parental instinct. How does that play with a jury?
That's why this text message is such a problem for the defense, because it does show that this is your first response, to send this text message when you're getting wind that there's this horrific shooting at the school. And look, she explains it away by saying she feared he commit suicide. I do agree. Well, that would tend to show that there were some issues prior to that time. But it's really important. She's not on trial for being a bad parent. And so what the defense is going to focus on, they're going to say, we're not doing a 2020 retrospective and looking back and seeing everything that could have been different. What we have to look at is what she knew at that time. And was there a willful disregard of a known risk? And that's the critical question. And that's the hurdle that the prosecution has. Now, the cross-examination, that's going to be really telling. But I do think, I just want to respond to something Dave said, the hiding out, the on the run. I don't know if that really matters so much in this case. And I'll say that because it's not an intent crime. So the prosecutors are trying to paint this as they knew that they did something wrong, that they were somehow responsible. I'm not sure that plays too well here. Now, we'll see more on that explanation tomorrow. They're going to be cross-examined on that point. But, you know, Jennifer Crumbly said she was following her attorney's advice. That's going to be explored tomorrow.
But you know, the old bromide is, if you didn't do anything, why'd you run?
I agree. That's why I say in an intent crime, if you're the one pulling the trigger and you hit the road and you say it wasn't me, well, now we're saying you're literally, it shows your guilt. It is showing of a guilty mind. Here, this is not an intent crime. The mens rea is different. And that's why I don't think the on the run.
The mental piece is that you knew there was a risk that this kid could do something like this, and you ignored it.
Correct. That there's a known risk that he has a violent propensity, and that you just basically put your head in the sand and ignored it. So I'm not sure that issue of, you know, you believe that you did something wrong, that the prosecution is painting, is going to carry the day.
I got you. That's sophisticated, though. Sometimes a jury will keep it simple.
Well, I'm very sophisticated.
You are, and you're sitting next to somebody who's kind of like a block of cheese, so you look even better. Dave Ehrenberg, thank you very much. I appreciate you. And Misty Marris, as always, appreciate it. We'll see what happens. This is going to be a big one, because as Dave said, it's going to make a difference, because it's going to echo around the country. A lot of people have been asking this question for a long time.